I have so many great things I want to share with you, but in the interest of time, I'm going to share with you a strategic chart I use and have shared with thousands and thousands of women around the country to really help them create more impact and influence in their life. Luckily, I've been able to interview so many women both on my YouTube channel and also for my book, The Working Woman's GPS. In these discussions, I was absolutely amazed how many women were not necessarily reaching for the title or reaching for a certain office. Most women I've met with, when you really start to ask, well, why do you want that promotion, or why do you want that new opportunity, or why are you doing the work you're doing today? Most women came back and said some version of, I'm looking for more influence and impact. I want my voice to be heard. I want to move the ball forward. And after all the research I've done for women, this very much aligns to what is out there, is women are looking for more purpose in the work that they do, especially because many of them are leaving family at home to go and do this work. So I'm going to share with you today some really key strategies that I have learned and leveraged to be more impactful and influential in my own life. It's a very simple. I have a background in computer science. I've spent most of my career in data centers and working on really strategic technology projects. And so I'm very used to putting things in charts and organizing details. And after interviewing all these fantastic women, I created a chart that's also in the book that really talks about how do you get more focus and influence in your life. And so I'm going to spend the next few minutes going through this chart with you so that you too can leverage it. There are 6 columns in the chart, the first of which is commitments. Now, when I first started filling this out, I thought I needed one sheet of paper. But the idea is that you may need to make several copies of this chart so that you can really understand all of the things you've said yes to. So commitments are things you've said yes to, meaning you're going to spend 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 2 hours, 2 days, 2 weeks on. What are the commitments you said yes to? And these come in all forms. They can be a formal request for your time. They can be a slide by your office saying, hey, can you just... This can be something that you are walking out of a community center, a school, a church, and someone says, can you just help us on this project, or can you lead this committee? So list all the commitments you have made, or all the things you've already said yes to. Now, I'm not expecting you to do everything right now, but the idea is to create this chart for yourself where the first column is called commitments, and you spend some time writing down the things you committed to. It's interesting because when I first did it, I thought, well, my list will be, short, but I really did commit myself. In fact, I overcommitted myself in so many situations. The next column is requester. Who is asking you to do this? Of course, you're going to have things that you want to do, so you're the requester, but it could be a spouse, a loved one, a significant other, a teacher, a friend, a parent, a neighbor. Maybe your community leader, somebody at work. It could be a board member. Who is asking you to do this commitment? I added this after I wrote the book because I found that it was so important, because I had some repeat offenders, people who would ask me to do things because they know I could get it done. And oftentimes you'll see a little bit later in the chart that some of these people are really more interested in pushing themselves ahead than pushing you ahead. So the next column is requester. The third column is energy. Now, I didn't expect The Working Woman's GPS, that book, to really take more of an energy and spiritual route. But I found that so many things I was writing about really connected more to my soul than to my paycheck. And so I really added this column because it really helps me focus on being in the now. I love that book, Being in the Now, but I was sometimes struggling on how to stay in the now. I'd be in and out. So energy is when I look at this commitment, when I'm doing this commitment, do I look forward to doing it? When I'm doing it, do I enjoy it? And when I walk away, do I want to do it again? If you can say yes to all those things, you put a Y in this column for that particular commitment, or you put an N for no, I don't look forward to it. I don't enjoy doing it. I don't want to do it again. And I had many of those, let me assure you. So you put an N in that column. And then if you're not sure, you could just put a slash, maybe something you need to investigate. The thing I love about this column, energy, is that oftentimes the things I look forward to doing, I enjoy doing them when I'm in them, and when I walk away I want to do them again. They are things that align to my natural energy, meaning things that I do naturally well. Now, before I put this chart together, I have to tell you, I was not in a really great spot. Half the reason I was doing these interviews is I was trying to figure out, how do women keep all of this going? There's so much time and there's so many commitments we've said yes to. And I found myself in a spot where I just really was just down in the dumps. I couldn't get out of my own way. And when I actually listed all of my commitments and then I aligned what type of energy, I found that most of my commitments I did not enjoy doing. I happened to be aligned to the wrong people. I was pretty much in the wrong job. And the things that were happening in my life, I had been saying yes to things that really were not important to me, which drained all of my energy. Now, you know these people. When you see them, people that are drained by their own choices, they kind of they slug over, they're depressed, they don't necessarily like the life. Now think about someone who's really energized by their choices and energized by their life, right? Those are people you generally want to be around. You're excited. You see them and they're like, gosh, they really love the life they built. Well, I can assure you that if you think more about the things you say yes to, the commitments, and if you have the right energy around them, the more you can fill your calendar with things that you like to do, I can assure you your energy will be elevated. And I'll tell you why that's important a little bit. But I must say here, before we jump to the next, there are going to be times where you have to do things that you might not like doing, but they are stepping stones to get where you want to go. So you should not have an entire commitments where everything is yes. There's many times in your life you're going to have to do things you do not enjoy doing, either based on things you've already said yes to or based on where you want to go next. So recognize that your energy column will have yeses, nos, and unsures. So the next column is alignment. Now this is really important because you have to be clear on not only where you are, but where you want to go next. And so when you look at the commitments you've committed to, does it align to where you are now or where you want to go next? Now your alignment, you could have multiple things in your life you want to align to. So you could have a family bucket, like I want to get my family in a certain place, or I want to commit to my family to getting my kids or my significant other or my parents going in a particular direction, helping them get over some of their own hurdles or preparing them for where they're going next. There could be a work bucket, where are you now and where do you want to go next? There could be a community bucket, where are you now in the community, what do you want to do next? You might want to join a board or participate on a particular committee or start a new initiative. So think about, where do you want to align? So when you think of 12 months from now, what are you doing now and what do you want to do in the next 12 to 24 months? This particular column, again, will have a Y for yes, an N for no, and a slash for unsure, just as we did in energy. So alignment is, does it align to where I am now or where I want to go next? If you have a yes, that's fantastic. You should keep that on your list. If you have a no, you should ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this commitment? In fact, many people, what they often are doing is they're actually checking the box for somebody else. And if you want to donate your time or help a friend, that's completely fine. But oftentimes I found in my own professional career, I would take on objectives of my bosses, peers, counterparts, where I was pushing the ball forward for them and not necessarily for me. So does this align to where you are or where you want to go next? This is absolutely critical. And I found that I took on too many people's goals that did not align to where I was or where I wanted to go. And it often left me in the same position I was in 2, 4, 6 years ago. So I was really particular after I learned this material, after writing my book, that I was only going to focus on things of where I was or where I was going, which then we follow up by time. Time is how much time does it take? The next column is how much time. Is this something that takes 20 minutes, 2 hours, 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years? The time is absolutely critical, because things that take 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years are a lot heavier burden on your calendar than maybe something that takes 2 hours or 2 days. So really thinking about, do I want to commit this much time to this commitment and doesn't align to where I am or where I want to go? Time is critical, and honestly one of your biggest assets is time. So making sure you fill your calendar with the proper amount of time aligned to either where you are or where you want to go. And what you will find in the last column is there's a lot of things you're working on that really don't align to where you are or where you want to go. It doesn't give you good energy, and you maybe do or don't like the requester. So what of these items can you remove? What items can you remove? Absolutely critical, because if you want to get to the next step in your career and in your life, you have to change how and where you spend your time. So hopefully this chart will help you get a really good handle on not only where you are now, but where you're going and how you spend your time and how you're going to get there. Now the great thing about this chart are these are things you've already committed to. So you've said yes, you're doing the work. I can assure you that most of you are sitting there today and you've gotten several emails and phone calls of saying, hey, can you just, and you get all these requests for your time. So let me give you a quick tool you can use on how to think about requests that are coming in. Requests that are coming in, meaning you haven't said yes, but people want you to say yes, and you're trying to figure out whether or not it belongs on your calendar. So a few things you should ask yourself, and I have about 20 of these in the Working Woman's GPS, but a few things you should ask yourself is, if I took on this new commitment, would it be for the right reasons? How will it impact my other commitments? Do I need more information before I say yes? Is this project aligned to my desired areas of influence and impact? Do I know what is expected of me? And do I need to remove something to add this to my commitments? It is really, really important that you protect your schedule, because how you spend your days is how you spend your life. So hopefully this chart gives you some guidelines and a framework to help you understand where is the best use of your time. There are many things you can decide to do each day, and if you have desires to be more impactful and influential than you're being right now, I guarantee you that where you spend your time will help you get there. So please, I hope you'll reach out to me, JJ DiGeronimo, and let me know how this chart is working for you. There's other charts and other frameworks that are available in the Working Woman's GPS. Hopefully you'll pick up a copy and check that out. And I have a lot of videos on our YouTube channel, JJ DiGeronimo, that follows up on these discussions. So thank you so much for allowing me to share these strategies with you, and I look forward to joining you again.